when we linked up in Atlanta, we kind of had a dinner and we kind of talked about real estate investing. So I know most of us here are into real estate investing. I personally am in a real estate investing group to where we have all ponied up money in order to buy multifamily properties. But it's real, not archaic is not the right word, but it's really, there's no tech to it. Outside of opening a bank account, it's traditional old real estate. We've all signed an agreement to say, hey, we're going to invest this much, and these are the type of properties we're looking for, and then it's up to everybody to kind of go out and kind of find these properties, right? Well, the reason why this piqued my interest, because it actually may possibly serve my specific use case, is because Fractional is a startup company. They've raised a bunch of money to the tune of 5.5 million.
5.5 million. That 500 million is a type.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, 5.5 million to let friends and strangers invest in real estate together. So a couple, not a couple, but a pair of people who work for a firm, which is the buy now, pay later, to where you can go online, you can buy something, go to their site, and you can pay for it later. They have decided to break away from a firm, start this startup called Fractional. And basically what you do is it makes it technical, it adds tech flavor to going in with somebody to actually buy property. So if you got 5 on it, you and your homies, you can pony up, go to fractional.com. And it takes all of the legwork out of getting together to start real estate, making taxes easier, making finding property easier, creating all the operating agreements that you would think of when you're going in up with a partner to invest in property. So I just wanted to put that out there and then get your takes on will something like this work, or are people still kind of used to doing it or more accustomed to doing something on this scale the old school way, by making sure you can sign papers and fax papers and email papers? Or would something like this actually be a use case for everybody that's seemingly now getting into real estate?
I looked at this and I had some thoughts. I wrote some notes down.
Right.
Because they talk about the 3-step process that they facilitate for people interested in investing in real estate. The first part was to matching the groups together to start the underwriting process. And for anybody that doesn't know, the underwriting process is the process that the mortgage company uses to determine your credit worthiness. Like how likely are you to be able to get a mortgage? So they're bringing these groups together based on that, and I could see that maybe working out a little bit easier when it's a group that is already a group of friends, people, known people. But when you're talking about a group of strangers,
right,
how does that get facilitated? And now are we in a position now where we all got to give our social security numbers because we all need our credit scores and we all need bank statements? And that's a lot of information, I feel like, to give over to a company like this to execute that process. The second thing they do is facilitate the purchase, obviously. So, is that something where they're presenting you with properties that you can either say yes or no to, or are they actually going out and finding the properties and you kind of have to take it or leave it and say, we like this one, we'll invest. We don't like this one, we won't invest. Are we trusting them to know neighborhoods and regions and demographics and all of the information around what a property in your area that you would be interested in investing in would look like, based on the fact that they're out in California. And then the third part is that they partner with property managers to help run the property once you have it. So this is all basically assuming you want to be somebody's landlord and want to be a part of that process, forever, getting that passive income from being a landlord. And I don't know that that's everybody's bag necessarily. So there were a couple different things there that I was kind of like, is that sustainable and scalable? I'm not sure. What if somebody in your group didn't qualify in the underwriting process? Do they get dropped and not get to take advantage of the opportunity? Like, how's that going to work? And again, the amount of data they would need to handle all of that on your behalf.
Right.
I just don't know that I would be willing to give that up.
Right. And the amount of things that they're doing. They're helping you find properties.
Right.
They're linking people together. They give you
It's like
property
it's a
management.
lot.
They give you real estate suggestions. It's like,
Right,
that's a
all kind
lot.
of stuff.
Right,
And
right,
so
right.
I'm doing two different things around real estate. I have invested in a group. It's a local group here in Philadelphia. A young woman, actually, young sister that has a construction company as well as a real estate company, and they go out and they buy the land. They get the land zoned for commercial use or mixed use or whatever use. They do all of the stuff you have to do down at City Hall, with the permits and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can either stay on, because they either flip the land. So once they've zoned it and graded it and got the engineer's report on the soil and all that other stuff, they either sell the land to a bigger developer and flip the land, and then you can cash out your investment at that point. Or if they're keeping the land, you can stay invested while they develop, like I said, a mixed use property, like stores on the bottom and apartments up top or something like that, and then still be a partner in that process and either cash out after that or continue to get passive income from that. So I like that because all I had to do was cut a check. You know what I mean? I don't have to think about anything else. Like I'll cut a check, and then in a couple years, your money will mature to where you're getting 2 or 3 times your investment, and you just get that back and you do whatever. And the other thing I do is invest in REITs, which are real estate investment trusts, so REIT. And they are basically just mechanisms where, like, hotels per se, like hotels rent, like hotels don't own the land that they sit on, they rent. So somebody might have a real estate investment trust of all hotels that you now invest in, but then you get that dividend from when they pay that rent. And the more you invest, obviously the more dividend you can get, which can also become a passive stream of income if you got enough money in there. So those are when it comes to real estate, I prefer to be as hands off as possible. Even though I am a landlord, I actually am a landlord, but it's just to one person who lives underneath me right now. And, I don't have to do a ton because the building's in good shape. So I don't do a ton of repairs. But the idea that I would want to get into, like I said, that type of situation, with a bunch of other people. Am I doing it? I'm just like, I don't know if I'm doing all that.
Right.
So when I looked at this, I initially thought a couple of things. Number one, I thought, is this kind of like a REIT? I mean, it kind of seemed like that a little bit.
Until they put the property management piece in there.
Exactly. That part made me think, it's like, okay, is this like a high-tech new way to do like mortgage brokering or something like that, to where you basically you found a property that somebody wants to just get rid of. You also have someone or a group who wants to buy, potentially develop and do stuff. Is this a service that's going to hook those groups up together with software? So I don't want to initially say that, I'm not interested in this. I am interested in it. Not necessarily ready to invest yet, but I'd like to see how this works, because I'm like you, Stephanie, I don't want to do the property management. I want here's a check, give me checks, every month
based off my check.
And that's all that I want to, really have to worry about. And I wonder if this helps you get towards that. Now, the downsides that I can see, and they actually pointed this out in an article as well, is that, what happens when, you've bought this property. Let's say you do it with 4 or 5 family members, and now one family member life changes. I now want to get out. Or I don't want to put a new furnace system in. I'm not necessarily wanting to do that. How do those things get expressed? How are they addressed? What does the language look like? Because there's got to be some type of contract, in place. If you're going to be renting stuff out to people, you have to make sure that you're maintaining, those properties. So is all of that going to come out of the profit margin? I'm assuming that it will, but how does that actually look?
I would assume, I would assume the way I would use this is I would just use this for the sole purpose of organizing everything, not necessarily using not using the property management services, probably not using it to actually find property or anything like that. Just use to say, all right, us 3, we've decided to buy a property. We've already found the property. We've already made the agreement as to what shares that we're going to invest and what percentages we're going to get back. We've already identified a property manager. We just need an official technological way to organize this process. I can see us using, right, to get it done to where we all know what the documentation is. You know, we all know how everything is laid out. And then if we have any questions, we can use this and immediately refer to this to get any questions answered, but still rely on us as far as the back end for property management, for finding the property, you know, and deciding.
And see, now you're cutting into their profit that way.
Right.
I'm sure their agreement and that they have with these other entities is how they gonna make their money, you know, plus a percentage of our processing, you know, some processing fee for our stuff. But, you know, they're gonna have an agreement with a mortgage company, with an underwriter, with a property manager, with a real estate company in every area. So, you know, I could see that being maybe the 2.0 version where you get to sort of pick and choose the services you want them to facilitate for you. But right now I see it as all or nothing, honestly. I can't see splitting up all those little pieces for people right now, because it just wouldn't make sense, because there's probably, you know, entities that already do that kind of thing individually. I think the fact that they're aggregating all of these things together is probably their hook right now. So, like, you know, like I said, 2.0, you can just do this piece or just do that piece, but I have a feeling right now they would want you to kind of go through all three of those steps with them. In order to make it make sense. I was also looking at their valuation, and it seemed a bit high.
Well, doesn't everything high nowadays?
Based on the fact that it's still in beta, and you only got 400 waitlisted people who ain't even using it for real yet. You know, I'm like, that sounds like the Valley. I'm like,
it definitely sounds like that. But
it's like, okay, bet.
It
Must
is
be nice.
Interesting. It is absolutely an interesting idea.
A 7-figure valuation at all, you know.
We got to crowdfund and use all these other crowdfunding stuff, you know.
Kind of valuations, but they getting 30 out the gate.
You know how it is.
Okay, bet.
You know how it is.
I know how it is, because I saw how it was with Clubhouse, but we ain't gonna talk about that neither.
Yeah.